In a peaceful kingdom, nestled between flowing rivers and whispering forests, there lived a king unlike any other. He didn't rule with an iron fist or demand blind loyalty. Instead, he led his people with a gentle strength, with kindness, patience, and a wisdom that felt as natural as the turning of the seasons. The people didn't just respect him. They truly loved him. Of all his treasures, his glimmering gold, his magnificent palace, his powerful armies, one simple object held more value to him than all the others combined. It was a plain golden ring. No sparkling jewels adorned it. It didn't shine with a blinding light. It possessed no magical power except for the profound truth held within 4 simple words engraved on its surface. This too shall pass. Every morning, as the king slipped the ring onto his finger, he was reminded of this great truth. In moments of pure joy and celebration, the ring was a whisper of humility, a reminder that even the brightest happiness is fleeting. In times of deep sorrow and pain, it was a source of unyielding strength, a promise that even the darkest grief will eventually fade. The ring became his silent teacher, his constant comfort, his unwavering guide through the unpredictable currents of life. One quiet morning, the sun poured its warm, golden light over the royal garden. The king walked slowly along a stone path, the scent of blooming flowers filling the air. He watched birds flitting between the branches and listened to the soft, rhythmic murmur of water flowing from a nearby fountain. A profound sense of peace settled in his heart. But suddenly, a cold prickle of unease broke through the tranquility. He looked down at his hand, and his chest tightened with a sudden jolt of panic. The ring was gone. His heart hammered against his ribs. He frantically searched the ground, combing through the blades of grass, peering into the fountain's basin, checking under the stone benches. It was nowhere to be found. His ministers, seeing his distress, rushed toward him, their faces pale with alarm. "Your Majesty," they cried out, their voices trembling, "that ring is a symbol of the kingdom's fortune. To lose it is a terrible omen. Surely something horrible is about to happen." Fear, like a dark shadow, began to creep through the kingdom. Whispers of bad luck and dark times ahead spread from person to person. But the king, standing amidst the growing panic, remained surprisingly calm. He lifted his gaze to the vast open sky and said in a gentle, steady voice, "Maybe it is bad, and maybe it is not. No one truly knows what tomorrow holds." Days turned into a week, and the minister's fears seemed to be coming true. A terrible tragedy struck the kingdom. A ruthless band of bandits attacked a village on the border. Homes were burned to the ground, fields were ravaged, and the cries of innocent families echoed through the land. When the news reached the king, he didn't hide behind his palace walls. He immediately rode out to the village, bringing his soldiers, wagons of food, and coffers of gold. He stood shoulder to shoulder with his people in their darkest hour, offering not just resources, but comfort and hope, promising with all his heart to rebuild everything that had been lost. As he was returning to the palace, his convoy crossing an old wooden bridge, disaster struck again. With a sickening crack, the royal chariot broke apart. The king was thrown violently into the cold, rushing river below. He was rescued, he survived, but his right arm was badly crushed. The kingdom's strongest warrior, a man renowned for his skill with a sword, could no longer even lift one. The royal doctors spoke in hushed, somber tones, their eyes downcast. The damage, they said, was permanent. A wave of despair washed over the kingdom. First the ring, the people wept, and now the king's arm. This curse has surely taken hold of us. But even as he lay in his bed, his body racked with pain, the king looked at his worried subjects with peaceful eyes and said, "Maybe it is bad, and maybe it is not. Time will reveal the truth." Weeks later, the king, his arm still healing, felt a deep need to escape the heavy atmosphere of the palace. He needed silence, a moment to clear his troubled mind. Disguised as a simple traveler in worn clothes, he walked deep into the quiet solitude of the forest. But peace was not what he found. Danger was lurking in the shadows. A group of cruel mountain raiders ambushed him, their faces hard and unforgiving. They surrounded him, their weapons drawn, and captured him. They searched him roughly, looking for any sign of wealth or status: gold, royal symbols, a fine weapon. But they found nothing. He wore no ring on his finger. He carried no sword at his side. All they saw was a weary man with an injured arm and simple, dusty clothes. "This man is no king," one of them scoffed with a harsh laugh. "He's just a weak, pathetic wanderer." Seeing no value in him, they shoved him to the ground and set him free, disappearing back into the trees. The king, exhausted and wounded, walked for hours through the dense forest, his steps heavy but determined. Finally, he saw the familiar gates of his palace in the distance. As he approached, his ministers spotted him and ran toward him, their faces a mixture of shock and overwhelming relief. "Your Majesty," they cried, their voices filled with joy. "We found it! We found your ring!" One of them held it up, and it caught the afternoon sun, shining quietly. It was by the garden well the entire time, just lying there as if nothing had ever happened. The king stared at the ring in his minister's hand, and in that instant, a profound understanding washed over him. His eyes softened, and tears welled up as he looked toward the heavens. "If I had been wearing this ring," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion, "the raiders would have known I was the king. And if my arm had not been injured, my pride would have forced me to fight them. They would have surely killed me." In that single, breathtaking moment, he finally saw the truth. What he had perceived as a devastating loss had actually saved his life. What had felt like a string of terrible luck had been a form of silent, unseen protection. The ring hadn't left him to bring him harm. It had left him to keep him safe. The injury hadn't been a curse. It had been a shield. He gathered his people together, his voice resonating with newfound wisdom. "Nothing in life moves in a straight line," he told them. "What feels like a terrible loss today may be your greatest protection tomorrow. What feels like unbearable pain may be the very thing that is preparing you to survive. Everything happens for a reason, even when that reason is hidden from our eyes." From that day forward, the king wore his ring again, but its meaning had transformed. It was no longer just a reminder of the passing of joy and sorrow. It was a symbol of profound faith. Faith that life has a plan, even when we can't see it. Faith that even in our darkest moments, there is meaning. Faith that every ending is also, in disguise, a new beginning. Sometimes, the very thing you lose is the thing that saves you. Sometimes, the pain you hate is the protection you need. Life is not just happening to you. It is happening for you. And when it feels like everything is falling apart, when you feel lost and hopeless, remember those 4 simple, powerful words: "This too shall pass." Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content that explores the deeper meanings of life. Stay strong and have faith in your journey.